So, my dear sister, you are in part 3 of my talk for despairing wives. And I hope that by now your strength is being renewed slowly, your vision is being renewed slowly. And I hope that by now you have that strength to not get tired in doing what is good, believing that in due time you will reap the harvest if you do not give up. The Lord is giving you that strength. And keep your eyes on that goal and on that reward. You will reap the abundant harvest of God's blessings if you do not give up. And you know, in retrospect, several months ago, I had an excruciating, painful trial in my life. I found out that I was pregnant. And during the ultrasound, the doctor found out that I had a tubal pregnancy. And maybe some of you don't know what it is, but it is when your child is being developed in one of your fallopian tubes. So the next second, literally, I didn't even get a second to even realize what was happening. I was on the operation table for emergency surgery for my bursted fallopian tube, alongside with my 2-month-old baby being removed out from me or from my stomach. So to say all of that, why I'm bringing this sad story to you is that the only anchor of my soul, the main maker, one of the main anchors of my soul during that excruciatingly painful time in my life, a trying time in my life, was me believing in the goodness of the Lord. I could not figure out what was happening, why was it happening, but as Psalm 27:13 says, I would have despaired unless I have believed, and that is a key word, believed, to see the goodness of the Lord. In my heart of hearts, deeply somewhere, I was grabbing in my despair that was about to break out. Actually, it didn't come to despair, by the way. It didn't really come to despair, so praise God. But almost. The only thing that was keeping me to plunge into that abyss of despair was remembering that God's intentions and His thoughts are far above my thoughts. His ways are not my ways. I cannot comprehend, but He is good. Whatever is happening, even if I cannot figure it out, it is still for my good. So I wanted to encourage you to also lay hold of that anchor of the goodness of God in your life and say, Lord, I will believe you're good. And even I don't understand some things, why they're happening, but I will believe and I will not despair. So, and this message, my dear sister, to you, my goal is to help you restore your faith and your hope. So, if you humble yourself right now, realizing sincerely before the Lord, realizing that without Him you cannot go on. If you will pray and seek your face and turn yourself from your wicked ways, which are doubting Him, that's one of the roots of despair. Leaning on your own understanding, that can also lead you to despair. Leaning on your own understanding and strength. Walking by sight and not by faith. Limiting His power. Prayerlessness. Seeking your own resolutions. So if you ask for the Lord's forgiveness for all those things, He will hear you from heaven. He promises to do this for you in 2 Chronicles 7:14. And He will restore your hope, and He will restore your faith in Him supernaturally, and restore your marriage His way. And one of the things I wanted to mention, my dear sister, maybe you are in the state of despair in your marriage because, one of the reasons, because you have been trying to repair things and glue things together and put things together your way. But now is the time to start doing it God's way, which is through focusing and saturating your mind and your life, your whole being, with this eternal vision, what you're living for, what you're on this earth for. And we talked about it in our session first, in our first conversation. Also, relying on His strength, on the strength of His Spirit daily to keep going on, and believing that He will restore what the locust has eaten and teach you, maybe from scratch, maybe you're absolutely starting from scratch, how to be a wise woman who builds her home, not being a foolish woman who is tearing down it with her whole hands, but the Lord will give you that wisdom, which, like we talked about, that it's lavishly available for you. He will teach you all those things by the power of His Spirit. And I also wanted to recommend you a couple of things before I conclude, so to say. First of all, listen to this message, this three-part message, several times. Think about it. Write out scriptures. Pray. Pause. Cry out to the Lord. Write me if need be, and you can ask for my email. Actually, I will just give it to you. It's CRYTOGOD@msn.com, and in the message box, write for Jane, so I can keep encouraging you and praying for you. Let me know how I can pray for you. And also, after you're done with watching this video several times, please watch my video on how to love your husband. I think that's the name of it. It is on Cry to God YouTube channel, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be in my favorites in the Submissive Woman YouTube channel. And also, I have one more video that I would like to recommend you. I think it will be really encouraging to you in your despair. Hopefully, it's not despair anymore. I hope that you're being recovered and on the way to freedom from your despair. So that video is in my favorites. I don't know why I didn't write out the name of it, but it is also, you will find it. It's also a video, it's a true story by a woman who's sharing her freedom from despair in her marriage and how her marriage was recovered. It's in my favorites, so you will be able to find it. Okay, my dear sisters, write. Let me know how I can pray for you. Communicate, please. Don't just disappear. Let me know what you think about this marriage message and how the Lord used it in your life. And let me leave you with a verse. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your heart be troubled. Neither let it be afraid. See you next time. God bless.